Hey, welcome to Breaking Down Barriers, Women in Automotive Technology and Beyond by the Automotive Network. I'm your host for the day, Joan Michelson. I have a podcast also called Electric Ladies Podcast and do ESG work. And I am thrilled to be here. Again, I have had the privilege of hosting Women Automotive Network events and podcasts before. And so I'm absolutely delighted to be interviewing our remarkable guest today. I'm going to try to say her name. I've gotten some training, so we'll see if I can do this well. Małgorzata Bienaiszewska is joining us.
Perfect.
Thank you. Yay. Is joining us from Poland. She's given me permission to call her Maggie, which makes my life a lot easier. Though I love your name. I mean, it's beautiful. It's melodic. It's
Thank you.
Gorgeous. You're welcome. Maggie is the founder of Pneumatyka, which is the only company in Poland and one of four in Europe that produces connectors for pneumatic systems in commercial vehicles. Yes, this gorgeous, brilliant woman is doing hardcore automotive stuff, folks. She's also a member of the Council for Entrepreneurship for the President of Poland, where she chairs the Small and Medium Enterprises team. She has 20 years plus of experience as a businesswoman, entrepreneur, family-run business founded by her dad some 40, 50 years ago. She's an extraordinarily respected expert in mentoring, leadership, and team management, even teaching at the business school in Poland. And she's the co-author of a book called Leader Not Ideal, 14 Lessons of Effective Leadership. So, and she's also given us a provocative title for today's session, which is Tyrant or Leader. Thought we passed those days. Okay, Maggie, welcome to Breaking Down Barriers. How are you?
Thank you very much. I'm fine. Thank you, Angie.
Good, good. I'm glad. So I just want to start by saying you have to get me to Poland because I have some of the listeners may have heard that I have a famous physicist in my family tree who was originally from Poland. He was born in Strelsno. And so I have a particular soft spot for Poland in my heart. And so you're gonna get me there, girl. You're gonna get me there.
You're invited anytime. Just let me know.
So I want to get to the title in a minute, but I also want to talk about what it is you actually do. Tell us about your business a little bit so that people understand the context of, I mean, you know, we're so used to hearing from the OEMs or from other kinds of suppliers. So tell us what exactly is your business?
Okay, so in 1984, my father set the business, and it was the little company in a garage with some small CNC machines. And he designed with the team of R&D people from the local university fittings, or you can call them connectors, to pneumatic braking and air suspension systems of commercial vehicles. Little, I would say, looks like gold, but it's brass, little golden things that get into the braking and air suspension systems of each and every commercial vehicle, bus, tractor, trailer, semi-trailer, etc. So this is our patent, our design, and that was the beginning. Since then, we are designing, redesigning all those products, the whole family of those products, and selling all around the world to manufacturers of trailer builders and also manufacturers of valves, pneumatic valves around the world.
So what exactly does this piece do? Does it make, how does it help the brakes work to keep us safe?
If you have the braking system, and in the braking system, there are valves, there are tubes, you have to connect them. And this is the way how you connect them. In one place, you put the fitting, then you, on the other side of the fitting, you put the tube, and then you decide wherever you go with that tube to the next valve, etc. So this is it.
So are your customers the OEMs, or the automakers, or are your customers other suppliers? Who are your customers?
All.
Oh,
We deliver directly to OEMs, we deliver to trucks, trailers, buses. We also deliver to manufacturers of valves, but also to aftermarket. If you're just driving your vehicle and then in the middle of the street, it stops on the highway, you need that little part to help you if it stops because of the braking system damage. So that's like I would say the market is a huge potential for us.
yeah, of course. It's interesting. When I was a TV reporter, I worked at 60 Minutes, and one of the stories that came out around when I was there that another team on my show worked on was on how trucks have a issue with braking. And so I'm thinking that they wish they had your part, they probably didn't have your part working, or at least not in those trucks, right? So what's it like being in this hardcore part of the auto sector as a woman? Because I don't want to get too weird about it, but a lot of women work in executive roles at the OEMs, and they're basically desk jobs, or there's women, of course, on the assembly plants. But you're doing this, you're an entrepreneur, you're gorgeous, you've got style, and you're doing this kind of hardcore auto work. What the parts that make the brakes work, basically. I mean, how do men respond to you in the auto sector?
It's important to say that I'm not an engineer, so that also has a huge effect. And at the beginning, like when I was taking over the business from my father, it was in 2002. Let's be very open. I was not respected at all by any man. They were just looking at me. I even remember one short story when we were at the exhibition, and that was just the Polish one, not a huge one at the time, 2003. And the man comes to us standing. He says, "Hey, can you please ask this man that is with you at that stand to come and help me?" So I say, "Yeah, actually, I can help you. I'm also the representative of this company." "Good, but can you please ask this man to come?" So I said, "But he's busy. May I help you?" He says, "Okay, go and get me coffee and call this man." So that was the beginning of the of my story, but it changed completely from that time. Like when I decided not to prove to the whole world and myself that I'm worth it and I can actually have that business, it's done. It's done. Like it started changing. Of course, I made a lot of mistakes, and this is what it's all that book all about, from a tyrant to leader. That's my story, because I found some solution in my head how to actually force those men to listen to me, which was not a good one, by the way, that solution. But anyway, so it was hard at the beginning. Now I would say it's much easier. I don't even see any gender difference. I know that some women would kill me for saying that, but if you have your own company, and if this is the business that belongs to family, and if you deliver to a lot of family businesses as well, it's completely different story. You just make relationship, and that's not the business. Nobody asks you, are you a woman or a man? Because I don't know if I want to talk to you or not.
Yeah, that's perfect. Well, and I also think, you've shown that you know what the bleep you're doing, right? And you're running the company well. I mean, you've earned your respect by being who you are and doing a good job as a businesswoman. So, and obviously you're on this commission for the president of Poland and teaching at the business school, and so people take notice. It happens. But yes, the best of us have been asked to get coffee, and then they find out that we're the chairman of the board sitting at the table. So I love your talking about your leadership style. So why did you name this session Tyrant to Leader, and how is that reflected in the book that you wrote on the 14 lessons of effective leadership?
I started as a tyrant. Why? Because when I was 21, I took over that business and I had no idea what I'm doing. My father was ill. He had tumors, so he came to me and he said, "Okay, so no solution. Either you or nobody. I wanted to be the teacher of English, so I was studying at the Teachers College of English, and I was thinking this is going to be my word. And then one day you hear, sorry, it's not going to happen. Company is yours. Of course, I could say no, but that literally could not happen. So, and I started working with a team of my father's age men, all of them engineers. I didn't even graduate from the university at that time. I was just 21. I was not an engineer. I had no idea about this business. Actually, I hated that company with all my heart because every Sunday and every weekend, actually, we were having that lunch with my parents, and all they were talking about was business. So all I was thinking about was, let me just forget about it. I don't want to know anything about it. And then it happened. So one day I decided, and this is how the book starts, I decided that, okay, so now I'm taking over the business. So I was wearing very, at the time I used to wear very sport clothes, like that, for sure, not the business clothes. So I dressed up like a businesswoman, and I thought, okay, maybe I have no idea about the business, but I will look like a professional businesswoman. I'll just organize that meeting with all those engineers, and I will tell them what I think. Unfortunately, I didn't know how to walk with high heels, so I just fell down in front of all those men. And that was the story in my first lesson: do not pretend somebody who you're not. So I was trying to find different ideas, how to force those men to listen to me, to respect me. And unfortunately, because I had at the time I had no experience, I thought that, okay, this was the time in Poland when there was this attitude, you pay and you expect. If the employee, if the worker is not following you, just tell them, okay, get the hell out of my life, and I will get another one. There was completely no respect. So that was how I was behaving, unfortunately. I'm not proud of it, but this was my idea: pushing, disrespecting, threatening, and telling all those people that, sorry, if you don't like it, you may leave. And I lost very good engineers, team members who were wise enough to leave, I would say. And I still was thinking that this is not my fault, like this is the fault of those people. And then after some years, I decided I'll go to psychological studies. Why? Because I wanted to know how to manipulate people so I don't have to pay them and they will follow all my rules. Crazy. I went to those studies, and at the third year, I met my best friend, and she said after some time, Małgorzata, it's high time you stop. And that was the beginning of this transition, I would say, from tyrant to leader, when I started learning how it is to respect people, how to actually understand that with this aggressiveness and this respect, you're losing, you never win anything in your life. And that took me more than 10 years to change from tyrant to leader. And now, to be very honest and openly speaking, I'm very proud, because in 2020, Forbes Women Poland, they created this list of 100 women that had a positive effect in COVID times in the world. And I was there, and I thought, wow, like, thank you very much. That was unbelievable thing for me, because it was like confirmation that what I do makes sense. I'm not a tyrant anymore. Even though I knew it, but it was like from somebody from outside tells you that, yeah, like, look. And I changed completely. And a lot of lessons, those 14 lessons, are the real lessons I learned from my life, in that business, I would say, path that I'm walking.
Sure. That's, first I want to acknowledge you for being candid and honest. I mean, we all go through changes in how we manage people and how we move through our professional lives, but we don't always talk about it. It's like this, we hear these stories and we see the shiny object and the wonderful success, but we don't usually see the messy part. And there's a messy part, right? There's our evolution, our getting there. And so I'm hats off to you for sharing your honesty and your story, because we've all screwed up. We've all had our ways of not doing it right. We all have our stories. in one side or the other, being too acquiescent or too much of a bully. And so I really want to acknowledge you for your honesty. I also want to acknowledge your friend for turning around and going, Maggie, I mean, I've had friends like that. We need friends like that. So everybody out there, think about people that you're supporting and who you want to be that friend to, and who can be that friend for you. Think about how to be that authentic support that says, can I help you a little bit here? Because we all need it, right? We all need it. So give us a sense of those, a few. We don't have time to go through 14, but give us a sense of some of those lessons, and then tell us a story here and there to illustrate a couple of them. I mean, you've done work in amazing places. You've integrated your values into your business in really interesting ways. You're integrated, you have to stay competitive with R&D, et cetera. So you've got this whole business thing, and then you've got your leadership style, your new leadership style. And so kind of integrate some stories into like maybe, I don't know what we have time for, maybe 3 lessons.
Okay, so for example, the first lesson was do not pretend somebody here knows. That was the one when I was trying to dress up like a businesswoman. But the second one was, which was a really hard one for me, was to understand that we communicate, we have different communication styles, which is, it seems very easy and simple, like everybody communicates somehow and we're different. But the thing was that if you understand that you have in your team, you have at least 4 different styles of communication. And I'm that red color, which is, let's call it leadership style. You come to me and you just tell me exactly what you want in the first sentence, what's the problem, what's the solution, and then go. We don't have that much time to discuss. That's it. And on the other side of this continuum, you have my R&D people, engineers, who are perfectionists, a lot of attention paid to all those details, little things that they've done. And imagine this situation, we're sitting, there's this meeting of all the managers in my company every week. And some years ago, I'm asking one of the R&D head, actually, I'm asking, Emil, can you please tell me, did we pass those tests of some new products? My expectation was very simple. Yes, no. And then imagine myself sitting there and he goes, yes, actually, Małgorzata, we did some tests. We started with those tests with the climate chamber, minus 80 degrees Celsius, with those O-rings, and we put it for that many hours. And I'm sitting there and thinking, like, is this a joke? Like, where's the answer? So I'm getting more and more nervous because it makes no sense for me. I stopped listening to him after like 1 minute, and I'm thinking, give me this answer, simple answer. Did we pass or not? And he continues. So I say, Emil, but did we pass? Małgorzata, I'm getting into it. So, and again, 15 minutes. Oh. I do not remember any of that because at the end of that meeting, actually not at the end, but just in the middle of his long monologue, I said, Emil, stop. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't want to listen to it. I became very aggressive because I said, it's just too much for me. Emil was shocked. He was like, what's wrong with you? I'm just giving you all those details that are so important. I got that answer, but it took so much time and so much effort. And I learned from that meeting that the fact that I am red color, meaning the type of communicator who wants something fast, that doesn't mean that I should expect from other people to follow my rules. You have to understand that we are different. When we're different, communicating different style, that means you respect those people and you try somehow to manage, but it's not pushing just because you're the owner, founder, manager, whoever you are. This is kind of, let's say, a game. And if you pay attention to people's needs, you'll get more. So now we have those lovely meetings when Emil speaks long, and I also do not care. I listen patiently and I found my solution. I just do notes. When I do notes, I concentrate and I have the feeling that I'm actually writing something important, and that helps me to concentrate on what he's saying. So one of those lessons, or delegating and giving feedback is another one. How to give feedback, I think because it's long, so I'll just try to make it shorter.
Yeah, how do you give feedback? Because that's a tricky one, because where feedback is in effect correcting someone, right? And it's by definition a form of criticism, but we all want to improve. We can't improve without feedback. And so how do you give constructive, everybody talking about constructive feedback, but it can be quite uncomfortable. So what's your way of doing it? And how do you also have multiple cultures, right, that you're dealing with? So how do you deal with the cultural differences?
With multiple cultures, it's funny, like never before. I'm learning every day something new with the Indians that I work with. The first meeting almost 2 years ago when I went to India, and there are those, I don't remember, 5, 6 men standing, managers, and I'm trying to explain to them that what they did is not correct. And then it's nothing very important in a sense that we didn't destroy the whole world. It's just some simple task they didn't do correctly. So we have this follow-up meeting, and I say to those men that, gentlemen, we just didn't do a good job. I used we instead of you. So we just have this feeling that it's not like I'm blaming you. Let's just work on this together. The men are standing all together in a line. And I'm saying this, and then I look at them. All of them have their heads down, not looking at me. I'm thinking, what did I do wrong? Like, where is the problem? So I'm saying, my idea is that the next time when we do it, we do this, this, and this, and I'll help you. So okay, nothing changes. They're still standing. And then I see one man crying. And I'm thinking, I'm like completely lost. I have no idea what I've done wrong. So I'm asking my business partner, like, Dinesh, can you please tell me what is my mistake? He didn't know. We left the meeting. I just finished. I just gave them finalized the feedback. I said that tomorrow we're going to meet. We will go through that. We solve the issue. That's it. And I was just thinking what's wrong. And the thing was that I was too direct for them. Being a woman, telling even we did something wrong, we screwed up, doesn't really matter for them, because it's still a woman telling a man that there is something wrong. You, whoever done. From that time, I had
that
this.
Was the first time that women had criticized these guys?
Yep.
Wow.
The first time the white woman that they've never seen in their life in Jamnagar was actually speaking to them with a negative feedback, which was
wow. By the way, I just want to say, everybody, put your questions in the Q&A in the chat. We're gonna get to Q&A in a few minutes, and so if you have questions about some of this that you're dealing with, like if you're in a situation that you want some feedback from Maggie or me on any of these issues, just pop it in the chat and we'll see if we can give you a little bit of quick coaching here. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that was hard, but then you need to understand the cultural differences. I know it's easy to say, but it took me almost 2 years to feel okay with that team, to feel that we can say directly what we want. Of course, keeping in mind how different we are, but not making a huge deal of it. You just respect certain things in the culture, and then it works. But it was hard, to be honest. But now I have a feeling I go to India, like I go there every 2 months, more or less. And I go there and I feel like at home. I see that Indians are just very nice people. Sometimes I have to say it, I know you kill me, but dear Indians, sometimes not very open-minded, but I do know it's not the idea of offending, because I think you cannot talk about the whole nation. You're just talking about the few people that I had a chance to meet, that we did not get on well with each other in certain time, but we found the solution. So that was just my first idea. But then I think that also I was not open-minded, because you have to look from different perspective. You have to understand that because we are different, we need to find together some solution instead of just complaining that we're different and you cannot do anything about it. Now we're doing fine. The company is growing. My business partner is still alive and I'm alive, so I think it's okay.
Well, no, but there's a point in what you're saying that I want to pull out, and that is self-awareness, right? We have to be aware of our role in this. We can't, even if we're the boss, quote unquote, we have to not just, or we're the client, it's, they want our money, we'll do, you have to understand where your part is. It's true in any relationship, but especially when you're dealing with different cultures. And what I also understand is you've taken your involvement in India to another level, actually. And I want you to talk about that a little bit, because I think it's really a cool thing. I think that, in the research that I've done, and I'm actually doing a book on this as well, but is that women do business differently, right? I mean, there's kind of a meme about that a little bit in a kind of stereotypical way, but I'm talking about truly like living business differently and careers and making decisions from more of a values kind of standpoint. And so one of the things that I understand that you've been doing is integrating your values into the core of the company and even into your business model. So talk about how before we get to questions, I think this would be really important for everybody, is how do you operationalize that? It's nice to say, everybody's got their mission statement and their core values, and you can find that on any big company's website even. But how do you integrate it? How do you operationalize it and put it into your business model? And talk about the example, I mean, since you brought up India, as a case in point.
Basically, there are 3 values in my company, and it's not like EVP that is on our website. It's something that we believe in, we live according to it. And these are not just the empty words, and I'll just give you an example in a sec. But humankind, respect, and good reputation, these are the 3 values. They stem out from the fact who I was and how different it was in the past. And when I met Dinesh, who is my business partner in India, that was a funny story how it started, because I just posted on LinkedIn almost 2 years ago, some post on family values. And after some time, I received this private message from this man that I had actually, we haven't met, but it just clicked that I've seen him somewhere, but I didn't know where. And I got this message with very funny English. Mine is funny, but he was completely funny because it was Google Translate. So I was trying to understand what he meant, but he just gave me this long story, actually comment and feedback on the way he sees those family values in India. And just, it was not good price, competitive price, what normally you get from there, but it was really logical, full of empathy, feedback, asking questions. He just got me involved. I thought, wow, I even showed it to my husband and I said, look, like unbelievable. Somebody spent so much time writing that long answer, which is beautiful. So we started writing, and I was asking him about women, how they're treated in India. I was asking men how women are treated by them in India. Quite kind of funny, but he was honest. He was really honest, telling me how it is. And after 2 months of such writing, I said to him, you know what, I know you've got your company there is producing some customized parts. So maybe you would like to see how we do it in Poland. So I would invite you to visit us. The thing was that Dinesh was never out of his state in India. So for him, that was like, wow. So he came after 3 months to Poland. He stayed here for 2 weeks. We did a lot of training, showing him everything, how we produce parts, etc. And after that, I went to India and I said, hey, maybe we can do business together. I just have that feeling that there is those values are similar. So I went there, and the first visit there was shocking for me because I was the first white woman there. So also shocking for those people, like, you know, I was walking on the street, women were coming to me, touching my hair and asking, is that brass? Because this is the place where brass is, the Jamnagar is famous for brass producing. So it was crazy. They thought I'm having brass on my head. So I said, no, it's not brass. But anyway, and I'm entering this production department of his company and I see those children running between the machines. And I'm asking him, like, can you please tell me what am I looking at? Like, what is going on right here? And he says, oh, these are the children of the ladies that work at the checking department. And I said, so what are they doing at the production? Like, you know, 2 years old, 5 years old, what is that? And he says, yeah, the women are not educated at all. So they just give birth to the children and their children are also not educated. So they're just spending their time not at school or kindergarten, they spend here. So I said, like, if you want to do business with me, this is not going to happen. We're going to educate those ladies. We're going to send their children to schools, to kindergartens. We will pay for it. And don't worry, it's not like, I'm not talking about €1,000. I'm talking about €100 per person per year. This is the cost of education of 1 year with books, tuition and everything. And this is how we started. And it very fast is spread around that there is this woman from Poland who is actually educating women children. And then a company from India came to me, a manufacturer, I cannot tell the name, but a huge company manufacturing trucks. And they said, hey, we're a company, also family business. We heard that you're taking care of not only of your business, but also of our people, society. So we were just wondering if you would like to deliver to us. Let's check if we can buy your products and just have some relationship more than just business. I was shocked. I thought it's a joke, like, you know, somebody's writing me an email and I'm thinking, okay, wow, nice. And I did not answer. So then a man called me and he said, hey, I wrote to you an email. I think you might be interested. I don't know why you're not answering. So I just called and I said, yeah, very funny, very funny. Stop. I could not believe. I really thought it's still a joke. I was funny and he was stubborn, thank God, because then he called again and he said, listen, like, wake up. I'm not joking. This is the company. If you do not understand what is the biggest company in India dealing in this and that, I said, okay, I'm sorry. This is how I treated the CEO of this company. So I didn't feel very well with that. But after all, this became the business model. Now, next year, we would like to build the school there. For the
so
children.
Just to be clear, sorry to interrupt, but to be clear, you're employing the women and educating the women and also paying to educate their children.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you want to have the positive effect not only on the people that work for you, but
how long have you been doing this for and what impact have you seen?
Actually, we just started in December last year because it took us like 5 months to register the company there. And then we started December, and in March, first children finally went to school because there's another story, they don't have birth certificate in many cases.
I mean, it's very difficult and you're working in these kinds of environments. I appreciate that. But have any of the, I mean, it's September now, right? So, and I don't know what their school cycle is, but what kind of feedback have you gotten from the community? I mean, I get this company has shown up and that's wonderful. And I totally get it because we live in the world of spam, right? So it's really easy to not know if somebody's legitimate or spam. But have some of the women come to you? Have other, like, what has been the effect even so far, like even in the last 6, 7, 8 months?
Actually, I went to there are 2 couples working for us, and one has 3 children, the other 5. And we asked them, both of them completely uneducated. So I asked them if we could not communicate because they speak Gujarati, they don't speak Hindi, I don't speak Hindi, I speak English. So I had to ask for the translator to come. And I was, to be honest, that was the first meeting when I was really afraid because I asked Dinesh and he said, probably they would not understand because they're not educated. So they don't have this feeling to educate their children. What for? And I said, let me try. If I don't have a meeting, I don't speak to them. I will never learn if they want or not. Their reaction was shocking for me. I mean, beautiful, but shocking, because when the lady was translating to them what I was saying, the women started crying. And I thought that I did something wrong again, because I'm just a walking disaster with this different culture awareness. But what really happened, she got so emotional because she said, I'm earning 140 euro before I came there. I'm earning 140 euro per month. I am not able to pay 100 euro for one of my children. I have 5. And you're coming to me and you're offering completely different life to my child. So maybe one day they will not have to work like I do right now. And work in the sense of hard work, 10 hours a day, physical work, 6 days a week. So she was unbelievably happy that she was basically crying all the time. And I was also crying at the time when they translated. So it was really emotional meeting. But then what happened? It spread just like that. Those women were coming to me and saying, hey, my daughter is in college. She would like to go to that college. Are you able to support? I said, sure. Then another one, we don't have the birth certificate, so we need some support to create it, to go to government. We don't know how to do it because we don't read and don't write. Can you help us? So we did it. So this is how it all started. And very easily that became kind of a way of recruiting people, because they want to work for us, because they want their children to be educated. And women know there's only one condition. You want to work for me, not a problem, but you have to go to school. You will work and we will pay for your school, because I want you at least to read and write.
Oh, that is so extraordinary. And I just want to really applaud you for that. It's really, really, and that's, to me, I'm sure that's one of the lessons in your book, which is give back, right? I mean, treat people with respect, but also understand what their needs are and see how you can help them. And everybody says, give back, like, it's writing a check, but it's not. It's finding a creative solution, a way to give back. I mean, I bet none of the men there, forgive me, I love men, but probably thought about educating the women and their kids. I mean, it just probably wasn't even in their frame of reference. And here you come in and you just see it immediately, and then you do something about it, which is completely extraordinary. So we're telling you, we've gotten a lot of great comments, not too many questions. So I'm just gonna wrap this up by asking you, Maggie, what's the one thing that you want women who are doing business across cultures to understand? You've talked a lot about understanding, where people are not assuming really kind of where people are coming from and the different communication styles. But are there specific tools for how to understand? I mean, if somebody's coming to Poland, other than calling you, they don't know how people do business in Poland, and they can Google it or, whatever. But are there nuances that you've learned to doing? I mean, Women Automotive Network is international by definition, and that's the beautiful thing about it. And we're in a global economy. So what's like some little nuance to doing business internationally, especially when you don't speak the language, there's cultural issues around being a woman, whatever. What would you suggest that you want to leave us with today?
What I didn't do, and I think I should have done, was asking the Indian woman to support me at the beginning, have a translator, but a woman, I'm not joking, a woman, because then in this society, Indian society, it will be much easier for me to ask her how I should behave, what are those cultural differences. And I made a lot of mistakes, really, like, for example, when I was saying hello to men, I should not shake hands at that time with some of those men. And of course, it's a stereotype, but on the other hand, it's in this particular case, I just should say namaskaram. Instead of that, I was just saying like European, typical European one. Hi, nice to meet you, and shaking hands. And the man was shocked. Or for example, I'm open, I'm extrovert, so I make a lot of jokes. And some of them were really embarrassing, which are completely standard ones in Europe, but for them, you just don't touch those topics. And I'm just standing in front of those men and making another joke. And everyone is shocked because there are certain
So be
things.
careful about the kind of humor that you use, right?
Exactly. But I think the easiest way is to get that lady that would support you. You can ask her, should I wear sari, not sari, or should I shake hands? How should I dress? And many other, those simple things that seem not to make any sense to, that they're not important, but they're really important, because if you feel like it's strange because you're wearing different clothes that you should not wear, then it's better to wear those good ones, the correct ones, and you feel better and you can concentrate on business, on relationship, whatever. So, but I would also add one more thing. I've seen that many people are paying a lot of attention to pointing out those differences in cultures. But believe me, if people are open and if you come with respect, you will work it out anyway. If you make a mistake, you just basically say, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. This is how I attacked the father of my business partner with hello. And I saw him shocked and I said, I'm sorry. Like, I'm very sorry, I didn't know, I cannot do it. This is European, so next time I know what to do. And he was open, he just said, hey, no problem. So I don't really think, of course, it's nice to read something before, don't be ignorant, but like I was, but on the other hand, just go and be yourself and respect the other culture. And that's it, it will work out.
I love that. I love that. And admit when you mess up. Yeah, when we show that we're trying to bridge the gap even a little bit, it really helps pave the way, and learning a few words of the language and things like that. So thank you so much, Maggie. I really appreciate it. This has been an extraordinary conversation. I hope everybody also signs up for the next Women Automotive Network live podcast on October 18th about female leadership in global e-mobility startups. I'm an e-mobility freak. If anybody listens to Electric Ladies podcast, they'll know that in a heartbeat. And I worked at Chrysler in e-mobility and electric vehicles, so I'll try to tune in for that one myself. Thank you. And so thank you everybody for joining us today on Women Automotive Network, Beyond Borders and Beyond Barriers, Women in Automotive Technology and Beyond. I'm Joan Michelson. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. And thank you, Maggie. Maggie, you're a star. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.